We're going to start in a meditation like we do. So I want you to make yourself comfortable. And whatever comfortable really is for you, that's the way you want to be. So find a way to be. It's better to sit than it is to lie down for a meditation. For meditation, we're always trying to line up the chakras, right, in a vertical direction. And so when we lay down, it does a different effect, and it's also wonderful, like Shavasana does. But for seated meditation, you'll get a lot more out of it if you're seated. And if it's too uncomfortable sitting on the floor, then just sit on a chair or something that is comfortable, or lean your back against the wall or against a couch or something so that you're at ease. So this really matters. You want to be comfortable so that you can stay for some minutes. And we're not going to do a really long meditation. We're just going to get quiet and sort of line ourselves up and come together as a group, just like if we were really in the room. And we are really in the room. It's all energy. Everything's energy, right? And so we're connecting energetically. I can feel you, you can feel me. You know, it's quite intimate, actually, in this format. So let's begin. So however you would like to sit with your back straight, just get comfortable there and close your eyes. And just take some breaths and use your breath as a conditioner to start to slow down from whatever's been happening today. Inhaling and exhaling. And just feel yourself quiet down, relaxing with every breath a little more. Make sure your cell phones are off and all of that. We have a candle lit here, you know, because all of this is sacred time for yourself, to be with yourself. And so we don't get to do this that often, where we're consciously slowing down on purpose with ourself only in that deepening relationship between soul and self. And so breath by breath, feel yourself come into the space, into your space, onto your mat, into your yoga experience with me. Like it's just you and me. And you use your breath to take yourself deeper and deeper, and you feel those big sheets of tension that may have been building up over the weeks in this pretty stressful time, letting them just fall off and fall away every time you exhale. So you keep feeling lighter and lighter and deeper until it starts to become still inside. As much as you can, relax your shoulders. Lengthen the spine so you feel long through your body. Relax the face. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheek. Relax your jaw. Relax the mind. And enter that deep space of meditation for some moments. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And all the energy of the day and of these days, let it fall away to return to this present moment. This present moment, still as can be. And check in with yourself to see how you are. Physically, emotionally, mentally. How are you? And in that stillness, set your intention for this experience. today. I want to feel better. I want to feel hopeful. I want clarity. Make your intention, whatever it is, to physically feel better, to mentally feel better, to emotionally feel better. Maybe all of those things, right? Make your intention now. And organize yourself to your body, to this experience, and to each other, and with me. To let yourself have this yoga, this personal experience of yoga, right where you are. And already the energy is shifted, I can feel. So now let your breath start to get deeper and fuller. Good. Until it starts to feel natural, to begin to transition out of this meditation. Good. Nice. So already you can see, from when we started to where we are now, that the energy is not quite as erratic, even just getting on the call and getting yourself situated and getting the computer working right and getting the angle and all of that is stressful, And so we're switching. And just know you can switch whenever you want to by just taking a breath or two. And once you start to build practice of conscious breathing, you can start to apply that to waiting in line at the DMV, right? Or any kind of tension-filled experience that you're in. You begin to remember, oh yeah, I can take a breath, and I can get organized, and I can get centered again, and I can go into response rather than reaction, etc., right? So this is a really powerful technique. So today, if you don't have a chair already, I mentioned on the card that we're going to be using a chair today. It would be good to have one. I have one behind me there, you can see. It just needs to be a chair, ideally, that's light, but it doesn't have to be. It can also be a desk or something else, but a chair is ideal with no arms. That would be the ideal. If you don't have that, don't worry about it. We'll work around it, okay? So just some chair that's around, and go ahead and let's get our chairs organized, and I'm going to go back to it now. I could see you. So you're going to take your chair out. And don't worry if you don't have a chair, just sit on any kind of chair, on the side of your couch, right? It'll work. It's just not, this kind of a chair is a little bit better because you can see it's got a hard edge, but it's like a little fold-up chair, but you could use a kitchen chair or something like that, or even a stool, right? And if you don't have any of that, don't worry about it. Just find your couch side or a comfy chair. But right now, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. And you'll see that on a side view in a moment where you can see how far out of the chair I am, where I'm really sitting on the very edge of it as much as I can. And all we're going to do right now is just start to roll the shoulders and just start to warm up the upper back and neck. I'm breathing there. So right on the edge of this chair, you can see I'm not sitting into the chair. I'm sitting all the way out on the edge of the chair, and I'm rolling the shoulders around and trying to get as much space as I can through all the upper back muscles, through the scapula. I'm just letting them roll and roll. Good, and then make it bigger. Now you're going to take your arms and make the same kind of circle. So the arms are going up and back and close to the body. So the temptation in this one is your arms are just kind of going out to the side. What you're trying to do is make it pretty tight to the ear and tight to the body. Circle backward. And you're just using your breath, inhale and exhale. And you're just trying to get that fluid breath to open and close. That looks good. I can see you looking beautiful there. And just keep moving, stretching up Exhale. 2 more. Inhale up. Good. Exhale. Tight, tight, tight to the body as much as you can. Inhale up. And exhale down. And just bring your hands on your lap anywhere you like. And just letting your head turn all the way to the right. All the way over. And then back to the center. And then all the way to the left. Good. And just stretching out your neck. Remember, come back to the middle. You're always trying to lengthen the neck so that when you're going into these rotations, that you're not doing it in a curl. Like your body's not slumped, your head's not slumped. The body is as straight as it can be. And then again to the first side. And then back to the center. And to the opposite side, keep the length, keep the length. So you keep pulling up through the crown of your head. So there's really a lot of length there. Back to the center, and then tip your chin down. So I'm not letting my head come forward. I'm tipping the chin down while the back of the neck is lengthening. So you want to feel that the back of the neck is really long here. I'm just stretching, almost like you would be in bridge pose or plow pose, right? You're just stretching that back of the neck, and then bring your head back up. Whenever you're working with the neck, make the movements more conservative rather than radical. Can you feel the difference between those two ideas? Because when the movement is as far as I can go, in any direction I can move, the neck can be a little unstable, especially if there's a lot of tension in the shoulders, right? So we want to do things, you're kind of finding the edge. So we're going to go one more set, left, center, back, or whatever I said the first time, and to the opposite side. Sorry. And center, good. Good. And then now lift the chin up and open up the throat. Let the back of the neck open, the throat open. Good. And bring it back. Tip the chin down as you do so. And then having your feet still just right underneath of you. Bring your hands together in prayer. And you all love this one. And if I was there in the room, I'd be adjusting you. Remember, you're going to take the elbows, squeeze them together so that there's no gap between your elbows at all. The elbows squeeze together, tight, tight. Then the whole forearm does too. And then you take that squeeze. So you might not be able to get your elbows together. There might be a gap, but you are trying to not have a gap, right? Right together. And then you lift. And you bring them up. So if the elbows come apart, that's too high, right? So we want to keep them together and then only up as far as they stay together. So if they gap out, that means you're too far up. So I go back down, I reattach the elbows, and then I squeeze up to whatever much I can do. It's a great big tricep stretch, really big tricep stretch. Keep squeezing the elbows. It kind of hurts a little bit, right? It's really intense anyway. Good, and then bring them back and down and rest for a second and just feel what that does. So you need that shape for headstand, and you need that shape for, in a way, all of the scorpions and poses like that, and cobras in there to start to, even in cobra, the elbows are squeezing towards the midline, right? So the shoulders have to widen and the triceps are getting stronger, like in a headstand position. So when you're ready to, we're going to do that one more time. Squeeze, elbows touch and up. And don't let them come, don't let them gap. Keep them right together. Elbows come as high as they can, that the elbows don't come apart. So I'm going to go up pretty high for me this time because I'm pretty open this way. And then come back down and reset and relax and roll your shoulders again. It's just like big loopy rolls now, just trying to get this to be open. Now, a couple more breaths, stretching out, and then bring your hands just touching the chair, whatever you're on. And all you're going to do is take the right leg out. So you just got one leg out and the spine is straight. Full deep breathing, and that's actually a big stretch. If your leg doesn't come up that high, that's all right. Just, you can even have it on the ground, right? So I've got one leg bent and one leg straight, and I'm just taking that leg out, straight out in front of me, as much as I can, and then I'm going to bring the leg down, bend it, reset, keep your back straight, and then the other leg extends and it goes up. So the temptation on this is to fall backwards, right? So the body will like to go like this, or the leg can go higher. But we don't want the body, the back to change at all. Just the leg is going up versus the body going backward and the leg going up, right? I don't want this much height. I want it to be just straight out. Bring the leg down. We're going to do it again. Reset everything, shoulders back. And then same thing. First side, extends, inflection. So when that leg goes out, don't fall off, right? You're trying to really stay upright, and you can even keep the leg on the ground. So that might be something that just your body just can't do today, so don't worry about it. Just do what you can of it, and then bend it. Reset, make your back straight again, and opposite leg extends. Straight back. Really extend. Good. Push through the heel. Hard release. Come back. Nice. I see you guys doing it. Beautiful. Take the first leg. So we're going to go right leg up. Is that right? And so the knee is coming in. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm bringing the leg in. And the same thing in this is this would be a good side view actually. As I bring the leg up, the temptation here as the leg comes is again to fall backward to get the leg up. But what I want you to do is keep your back straight and take the leg up versus falling backwards and getting it higher, right? So you're staying right on the coccyx, the leg's pulling in, and put foot's in point for right now. And just pull that leg in. You'll feel that hip flexor stretch, right? Or tense actually. So where you're feeling that might be in the hip flexor, bring it down, reset it. Keep your back straight, be on the tip of the tailbone, and what you're trying to do is to not fall back at all. Don't rock. Stay right on the coccyx, upright. The leg pulls in. Even if it moves just a little, like I could hold my hands under my thigh and just lift it a little bit like this, right? If it's too much, because if I bring it up higher and that makes me fall back, then I'm sort of losing the point of this pose, which the point of this pose is a hip flexor releaser. So you have to actually push the left buttock down, right? The left buttock down as you bring that knee in. Foot's in point for right now. Good, let's do one more set, bring it down. So it's these groins, right? These big, where the thigh connects to the pelvis, right? This point of that we're trying, and so let's bring our thumbs into the crease of the thigh. So you've got your thumbs in there, you can actually feel those big tendons there. And then you're just gonna lift the leg and switch back and forth. And what I want you to feel as you're going from leg to leg is the resistance in the hip flexor as it sort of comes up into your thumb. Now here's what you're trying to do though. Not have resistance where your thumbs are. Ideally, and this is so tricky, how do you get the thumb to go in more as the leg is lifting versus coming forward? So we're just playing, and it's going to move, and you'll feel it kind of ripple under your thumbs, right? Good, and then bring it back down, and we're going to do one more set. Spine is so straight. Take your hands either under the right thigh and pull up a little bit, or shin and pull it up more. So you're going to, we do this usually standing, right, as a balancing pose, much more difficult. So let's say you wanted to get better at these kinds of poses and kind of take them apart a little bit. By doing it on a chair, you can work on the shape versus the balance. Come back down, because normally this would be a balancing pose. Reset, other side, the leg comes down. See how my knee wants to turn out. I'm not letting that happen. I'm keeping the knee in the plane of my hip joint and my foot, or even my foot's not rotated, right, in any way. It's all one line, and then that leg comes in. And remember, I can hold my thigh and do it this way, so it's a smaller stretch, or I can take it deeper. So just whichever you please, but whatever you're doing, try to keep your back straight. There's a saying in the old teachings of yoga, bring the leg down, that says you're as young as your spine is. And that is why there's so much emphasis always about working your spine purely and trying to keep the space in the discs, right, between the vertebrae. So the vertebrae aren't crushing the nerve or the blood flow, because when the vertebrae are compressing, there's either physical pain, right, obviously, and a lot of you have experienced that, or there's just dysfunction, where it's not working as well as it could, because you think of every vertebrae down your spine from your head all the way down. That vertebrae up here is affecting what's happening down my neck, all down my arm, right? And these vertebrae down here are back in front are affecting my legs and my ability to ambulate, right? So these are very important to keep the health of the spine. So on that note, we're going to put our hands on our knees and just do seated cat stretches. The feet are hip distance apart. The shoulders are back. Look at this. See how the shoulders are forward, the shoulders are back. The shoulders are forward, the shoulders are back. Of course, we want them back. So we're pinning the shoulder bone into the back of the joint in this. It's not forward, right? I've got it into the back. So as I'm there, pinned back, when we do the cat stretches, we're going to keep the shoulders back even though we're in cat stretch. Ready? Inhale, arch the spine, the chest lifts up and through, the shoulders are really pulling back now. A small opening in the throat. And exhale, without falling backwards, tuck your chin and roll and do a small curve. I am not falling behind. This is a side view if you can. And inhale and arching, the shoulders are pinned back, right? So the throat's softly open. And exhale, and I'm pulling the stomach in, but I'm not falling backward on the chair. I'm still staying on that tip of the tailbone. Inhale, shoulders back, and same with the neck. Don't squish your neck back. Leave your head looking long. Exhale, round. We're going to do one more. Inhale, opening. Keep the opening now and lie out over your thighs. Make your back as long as you can. Let your arms just dangle down towards the ground. Let your head relax. Let your neck relax. Let your shoulders relax. Let everything just melt and release the back of your neck. And everything go. Everything's relaxing. The back of your neck is long. Good. And then push your feet down to roll your spine up. Take your time to come up. So you're stacking the vertebrae up until you're all the way up. And this time, the arms are going to go back like wings. And just feel as you squeeze the wings of your arms backward that you're kind of squeezing the scapula together, right? And the rhomboids that are there. And you're just kind of pinching it off like an accordion. And I'm just letting it going back and back. And I am breathing here. Inhaling. Exhaling, just squeeze. Really try to feel this action of the scapula and of the rhomboids. And now, either you're going to just stay like this, where you're extending with your arms back. If you have the chair that you can reach, and this is side view, if you can reach the back of the chair, you will. And so I'm holding, in my case, the back of the chair. If I don't have a back of a chair, I'm just going to be reaching them back to as if, right? And you ones that have a chair like this, you're actually just holding the edges of the chair. And this is one of my favorite stretches. I call it the prow of the ship, right? You have that beautiful maidenhead, right? That's the name of what that's called, the woman at the end of the ship there. And you're feeling this big leading heart, this leading heart. Release your arms, keep your spine open, and lie again over your thighs. Let your head be the last thing. Let everything just roll down over your thighs, relaxing. Let your neck go. Let your shoulders go. And breathe into your lower back. Let everything stretch out. Good, and then come back up. So in these first classes that we've been doing, I've been keeping things pretty simple because I think a lot of people haven't been doing much movement at all from the people I've been talking to. You know, we're just sort of housebound and walking is, hopefully we're walking, which, you know, I always say if you can't do anything, walk, because that does a lot of good for your body, and especially if you start to walk with breath and in good posture, right? Then it becomes yoga walking, right? But we haven't been doing these kinds of shapes recently, probably that much. And so I'm kind of coming into all this stuff gradually. That's why we're using the chair today. And by the way, if anything is too difficult at any point, you can always use a chair. Just have one nearby and do the same shapes we're doing. If we're doing an extension this way, you just do it sitting down. So it's still going to have the effect that we want, right? So now, remember how when we took the right leg up, you bring it in, and we sort of just pulled it up and we tried not to fall backwards. So we're still shooting for that, trying to keep the back out. But this time, we're going to take the leg and cross it. So if you're a little tighter, this knee will be visually higher. And so You want that knee to eventually be able to drop down more, but in the beginning it might be quite high, and just let it be. If that's what it must be, this is a good view of it, that the knee is lifted like that. That just means your glutes are tight, your hamstrings might be tight, and the hip could be tight, or all of those things, or some of those things. And you're just trying to get that leg eventually to a more parallel to the floor shape. But don't worry if it's not, because this is how we do it, right? Every day if you did this, some of you that are extremely tight in your hip, this is such a good pose to practice because it really opens up the hip joint in a gentle way. Some of the bigger poses like lotuses or pigeons and things like that that get really deep in there can be too aggravating to the hip at first. And so this is a good pose to practice, and you can do it kind of all the time, you know, anytime you're sitting on a chair. And then, so we're going to let that leg just open as it will, and the spine is going up again. So I'm still on the very edge of my chair. And then, depending on how I'm feeling about this, I may come out a little bit, flat back. If that's going to make it feel a lot more. So I've got to decide how much is the edge of my pose. Where is the perfect positioning where I'm getting a big hip opening stretch without aggravating anything, right? I want to feel that beautiful hip opening without agony. Agony is not where it's at with yoga. If you're in pain in yoga, you're sort of doing something else now. And yoga is about finding the edges of things and then breathing into those edges. Come back up, just for fun. Sit up straight again. This is a little bit different and may not be what your body can do, but we're going to either just put our hands on our heel and our knee and just sit up straight, or a few of you, if it's easier for you, you're going to lift that leg up. But the thing again is to not fall backwards, right? So we're keeping the spine up, the foot's very flexed in either pose. It's on my knee like it was, or some of you, if you've got a little bit of space in there, you're just picking it up. And this is all very pigeon posy, can you feel? So I love pigeon pose. I didn't used to love pigeon pose, but I do now. It's one of my favorite poses. And this is one of the poses that taught me better how to be in it and get that knee to go down. Or not my knee, actually, my hip to open. This has really got little to do with your knee, actually, at all. It's the hip that's tight. Let's change sides. So just feel, before you change sides, just feel already the difference in your two hips. From having done that, you can feel there's a lot more blood flow in the leg that we were just working. And so we're going to take the knee in without falling backward again to catch it and pull it in. And just squeeze it towards us, keeping the back really straight. And then when you're ready to, the leg crosses. And we're going to see this side might be tighter, right? And it might be freer. So you're just going to see what it wants to do. And me being a person that used to have very tight hips, it took me a long time to open my hips, and I'm still working on it, you know, because it's a sticky place for me. And so I'm always very gentle with myself and not trying to force anything. Keep your spine straight. Flex that top foot so it's active. That protects the knee and it protects the ankle. Inhale. And flat back, not round back. Flat back, a little bit come forward. So we're not trying to lay on our leg. We're trying to bend from the fulcrum of the hip joint. And the spine is lifting the whole time, chest leading, heart leading. And I can feel that really a lot in my hip, and I can feel that opening there. Let's say I wanted to learn full lotus, or just even how to just do any kind of cross-leg position. This pose is your friend, and it's a great way to practice working on it more and more to start to open up that joint. Come back up, keep the foot flexed, and then you're going to just put your hands on your knee and your foot. And that might be the end, and you're just seeing how much up you can go. And then a few of you are going to play with lifting without falling, right? Keeping your spine straight and lifting a little. It might not be much. It might be nothing. It may just not move. And if it doesn't move, you're going to just stay up. You're going to keep lifting the spine. Well, maybe it's going up. Good. Nice. Beautiful. Good. And release. And just feel, the difference between your legs right now. Now I'm going to just a little bit tip my tailbone back and lay again over my legs. Fold forward, exhale, let your head drop down. Relax your neck completely. Now you want to really let your neck hang. Breathing the whole time. Good. Push your feet down to roll yourself up. Good, and spine is straight. So like we talked about last time, we were working on cross-legged poses a bit, and I said we were doing straddles in between the crosses, right? And that's on purpose, because what we want to do with our cross-legged poses and our straight-legged poses is by when we do a strong lotus position like this, you want to kind of straighten the leg after, just to rearrange and realign the patella, right? So what we're going to do now is, for that purpose, we're going to come out again. So you're going to lean forward from the hinge of the hips, let yourself come forward, and then let your hands drop. And you can either put your hands on the chair or on the floor. It's going to depend on your flexibility. And kind of pop up and straighten your legs now. And just let your body come into a straight leg forward bend. Lift your toes up for a moment to release the back of the knees and just get that hamstring stretch. It might have been a while since you've done this pose, so you're just seeing how it feels to do a straight leg forward bend. If it's too much on your legs, just bend your knees a little bit, and that'll take the pressure off your hamstrings. If it feels good, the legs can be straight. And that's enough. And then bend your knees, find your chair. Don't lose the chair. Find the chair. Put yourself back on it. Good. And then back to your, either extending your arms towards as if there was something to grab onto there, or do grab onto the back of your chair and stretch out your back. That looks great. Squeezing and breathing now into the upper back. Breathing long breaths. Now the breath, can you get the breath all the way up into your neck? Really long breaths now. Just really trying to stretch that out. Take 2 more big breaths. Inhale all the way up into your neck, past the clavicle. And exhale. And really open up the chest. Inhale. And then release. Exhale. Drop your arms. Let everything relax. And just sit for a moment. Close your eyes. Regroup. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn to the right. So we're turning to the right, and I'm going to give you some choices here. I'm still sort of on the edge of my chair, okay? So you're going to take the outer leg, and you're going to turn it outward like this. So you've got a right angle between the 2 thighs. So one's forward and one's in front. And you're just kind of practicing that, but you're facing the right. So you're turning towards the right leg. I'm a little bit using the back of my chair, or I can use whatever I'm sitting on to put my hand on to help me keep my back straight. And I'm just pressing gently the left leg behind me. Just a little bit. I'm opening. It's just like an interesting little butterfly pose. Good. Now, if this is easy for you, what I'd like you to try to do is to take that left leg back so it straightens behind you. So this is a supported warrior, right? Virabhadrasana. But I'm still turning towards the right leg. And so I'm just lifting still up and out of it and breathing. Really push your feet down. The arch is down in the back leg. Remember, if this is too much, you're just going to be here, right? Doing the same thing. The body's facing the right leg. The back leg is rotated around. And then if you want to, either just use your chair to push off of and lift the spine. And if you feel like it, lift the arms. Now that back leg is really, really straight. Keep pressing the knee. Good. And then bring your arms down. Sit back solid on your chair. Pivot back to the center. Come back to the edge of your chair. It's a different way of doing it, you know? It's kind of fun. And now we're going to turn. Boop, 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 other way. Turning left. Okay, then the leg comes facing outward. So I've got one leg facing right and one facing forward. And I've got my heels under my knee. And I'm going to face now the left. So there's a big twist in this. Can you feel it? My whole body is aiming towards that left leg. So I'm just really lifting the spine up. and trying to straighten the spine so I'm not slumping, right? I'm trying to stay as much up as I can. And a few of you, if you want, you have to slide back a little bit to do this. You take that back leg behind you. I've got all my weight on that front thigh. And then we're facing left. Back leg straight or bent, depending on which version you're doing. Both shoulders are back. It's a big, big stretch. Full deep breathing. And if you want to, you wedge your arms, elbows straight. Full deep breathing. I'm really bringing the right hip forward. Breathe. And back and down and return. Sit on your chair, all the way back on it. There, and relax. Nice. So one more thing while we're here, and I don't know if all of you have the equipment for this, but if you do, we're going to use a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a book. You could use a blanket rolled up, tight, 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 or towel rolled up, super tight. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put the block behind me on the chair like this. So it's going to be right centered. This is a side view. And I'm going to back myself. So my chair, my block, if you can see it, let's see, is straight, is straight back, and it's this shape, right? The long way, this way, not this way. This way, and I've got it right into the back of my chair, and then I'm pushing my tailbone back behind it, and I'm just letting my arms dangle on either side, letting this block lift my chest. This is a little bit of a bridge pose opening, right? The shoulders are really rolled back. Also an opening of shoulder stand, if you think of it. And you're just letting your arms dangle, and I do this all the time when I'm in long meetings, or if I've had a class that's 6 hours long, or I have to just listen to someone speak. I'll take my little Coke bottle or something, some little Perrier bottle, and just stick it behind my spine against the chair, and it kind of gives you some endurance for keeping oxygenated, keeping your mind alert. And you don't have to do it the whole time. Like even just doing this for a minute will actually kind of revive you from kind of that, when you've been sitting and sitting and sitting. It'll wake you up and keep you mentally alert. So it's a really good thing to know how to do. Take your arms up, and so now the stretch is deeper, and the arms are going behind you a little bit. If you want to, hold your elbows and squeeze your elbows back too. And breathing the whole time. Keep opening up the chest. That's good. And then take the arms stretched. And then while you're up there, just stretching one side and then the other, and then one side, and you're stretching all down the side of the body, right? Down all the way to your hip. From your fingers to your hip, you're trying to stretch it out. And don't forget, in these shapes, you're always trying to go behind your head in a way. So you're going backward and breathing. Good. And release, and back, back, back behind you the whole while. Bring your arms behind you as far as you can. And then there you are, seated again. Just come forward, take your block out, and just sitting comfortably. Another thing you can do with your block, if you have one, or you can get these at Target or any little store. You can get them online really easily. Sometimes, like most chairs are designed for men, not women as much, and our shin length is often shorter than a man's is. But of course there's all kinds of variations. But if your feet don't easily touch the floor, it's really important to keep your feet, your knees, and your hips all in these angles that make your back safe. When your feet are dangling in a way. Like if I put this block under me and I made it even higher, my chair higher, my legs would be in a dangled position, and actually can cause back pain just from having your legs kind of flying forward like that. But we're really trying to keep the feet super grounded. In my case, this chair is just right for me, for my leg length and things, but everybody's a little different. So you can put a blanket under your feet, you can put the block under your feet. When you're ready to, palms together. And now we're going to take them back together, squeeze the elbows touching, and again, no gap. So we want no gap between the elbows. You squeeze them together, and then you're feeling these lats on the side, right? These big, giant muscles of the lats, getting a big, big stretch. The thumbs are touching, and then you're up again. And breathing, and really lift the elbows as high as they'll go, that there's still no gap. And you can just look with your eyes if there's a gap between your elbows, and you'll feel a little shiver in there sometimes from this motion. And then come back down, and then release. Let them fall, squeeze them back, and roll. So we're just breathing. So a lot of this stuff today is just kind of easing back into the body again. That's why I called the last one easy. I wanted it to be easy. I wanted it to be fluid and breathful. And still we're in that mode, kind of playing with the chair, modifying the poses, getting ready for bigger poses in time, but sort of refining our body. Bring your hands out in front of you, touch your palms together, keep your shoulders down. Careful not to be with your shoulders by your ears, right? So when you're in these positions, you're always really making sure that your neck is long in these, that when we do anything with our arms, the shoulders tend to rise up. And so we want that. What happens is the head, the neck, and the shoulder, and the arms, and the hands all become like one thing, you know? And so we're trying to make all this separation in space. I see you, Stephen. And shoulders are down. And then we're just going to inhale, open. And then big, and now I'm really exaggerating the arch of the spine and my back bend. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, stretch. Elbows extend, throat slightly open. Exhale, close. There's so many principles to talk about. Inhale, just how to move your neck in this. And if you notice, I'm not moving it that much in exhale. I'm just letting it move some with the spine. Inhale, don't want to cut it. Because when you cut the spine back, you actually can hurt the vertebrae. So we want the body to have longevity, right? Inhale. So we could do this till we're 90. Full deep breathing. Exhale. When you get back to the center, close it up again one more time just to remember this terrible pose. Squeeze your elbows together. I'm just showing you so you can see my elbows, that there's no gap, right? I'm squeezing them, and then up you go. And you're going up, 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 as high as you can go. So that's going to make a big tricep stretch. That's going to make a big lat stretch. Keep squeezing. Don't let there be any gap. Good. And down. And release. And let it come back. And just let them fall back. Good. And last one of these now, back. One more time. Either straight back to reach your invisible chair back, or holding the chair back that you might have. And this opening up the chest, a little slight opening of the throat. So the tailbone to your neck is one even curve, one even curve. Every vertebrae moving similarly. So we don't want one vertebrae to be moving a lot and then others not. It's all one soft arc that we're trying to stretch. And then, of course, the breath is everything in this. Full deep breaths. Stretch. Drop your hands, let them fall. Put your hands on your lap again, just relaxing. Now just one more set of these. You're going to have your feet hip distance apart, grounded on the floor. We're going to take the right leg up again. You're going to hold it either the thigh. You could even hold a strap around, like if you can't quite get your hands around that leg. So you can either hold a strap, your thigh, or your knee, and you're going to bring it in close. And if you can see this straight view, that my knee is not wandering out nor in. It's just straight up and through. And I'm squeezing it. Now, give it a little bit of slack and just sort of rock it in there. But don't rock this leg. This leg's staying steady. It's just this leg. It's a little bit of a hard to do. And now bring the leg in, and this time you're going to let it go out to the side a little bit. So I'm letting it go out and open. Usually people are more open off to the side than they are straight in, but everybody's different on this. And all the while, we're definitely keeping our back straight. Slack, center, and in, straight up. Slack, now this is the hard way. Tip it towards the opposite shoulder. And now squeeze it, it's not going to move much. Just squeeze it a little bit. So you're tipping, right, to this shoulder. And I'm not falling over though. I'm keeping my spine straight and just that little bit. Good, and bring it back. Close it, down. Release. Fold through your leg for a minute just to relax your back. It's a big stretch, actually bigger than it looks, you know. Let your back breathe into, bring your hands on your lower back. Put them on both sides of the lumbar spine and breathe where your hands are. Inhale, the back expands. Exhale, the back relaxes. Inhale, the back expands. Exhale, the back relaxes. Let your hands drop, roll up, curl up, straight spine, opposite leg, pulls up, and we're straight. So I'm looking in my mirror, or if I have one, or I'm just looking with my eyes, or I'm feeling it. Is my knee and my toe straight to my body? And I'm just bringing that leg in a bit and breathing into it. Good. And then without disturbing your standing leg, you're just going to let the left leg kind of roll in and out a little bit. And I'm keeping my back straight. So there's a lot of coordination here because I'm not letting this leg follow along and I'm not letting my spine follow along. I'm just moving that up leg, bring it back, squeeze it in, exhale. Then slack, and we're going to let it go out to the side. So a little bit. So it's going off to your, more to the left. So it's rocking out, almost like what happens in a lunge. Relax, slack, back to the center, inhale. Exhale, close it. Okay, here comes the harder one. Slack, and you're tipping now to this opposite shoulder. Shades of cow pose, right? This is cow pose tension. The IT band, totally tight spot for most people here. Good, and then slack and close, exhale, and release. Bring your hands in the groins again. So this is a little bit of a rhythm that we're doing. Keeping your thumbs in the crease of the thigh. Inhale, arch the spine, shoulders back, and then lay again over your legs, long through the waist. Let your head relax. You're going to bring your hands on your lower back again. So you've got one hand on either side of the lumbar spine. And I want you to take 3 really deep breaths into your back. And when you're breathing properly in this, you'll feel the back expand as you inhale and relax as you exhale, right? And of course, so is the front body. As you inhale, the belly is expanding onto your thighs. You can feel it there. And as you exhale, it relaxes a little bit. And you want to get 3 big, big, deep breaths like that. When you've done those 3 breaths, use your hands on your chair or on the floor, but probably on your chair, and just tip forward for one more today. Forward bend, bent legged or straight leg. Just see what you feel like doing today. Let the legs relax, let your neck relax. Let everything stretch out, let the back of the knees release. Let your neck relax. And I'm just seeing how my hamstrings and calves are, which are tight today, I can tell. And I'm just kind of letting them be that, whatever they want to do. Bend your knees, everybody. Return to your chair. Roll up. Okay, so one more thing. So over here. So our twist is going to be on a chair today too. Typically, we're not going to be using a chair every time. I just wanted to do have a chair sequence. There's a lot of things we can do on chairs. And I wanted to have one kind of basics kind of class in here so that we'd have it. And you can practice with it all week long and kind of learn these things, and we'll add more to it in time. But more often we're not going to be using chairs, but I love you to know how to, because there are great ways to modify poses is in chairs. So what we're going to do next is we're going to turn to the right and be on the edge of our chair on the right. So you can see I'm just on the tip of it. And my feet and my knees are touching right now. My feet are together and my knees are together, and I'm facing over my legs. And then you lift your spine up as much as you can. Shoulders are back, head is straight. And begin at the, imagine nothing changing in your pelvis at all. Your pelvis is staying really still. Your knees are staying still. Your feet are staying still. And you're just going to turn the rib cage around towards the back. So in this one, it's very important to not let your knees, I'm going to turn this way so you can see, so that the knees, if I put a block between them, you can kind of see better, that my knees aren't at different heights, right? I want the knees to be exactly together, even though the waist is turning, so that my hips aren't turning too, right? Everything's square. Come back to the center. Go to the opposite side. You don't need a block for this one. I was just trying to show you maybe a little bit better. I'm really straight. My feet are touching. My knees are touching. My back is straight. I lift up, inhale, and then you start to turn now to the opposite side towards the back of the chair. And think of it as the rib cage rotating, not your hips, not your knees, right? That's not moving. Not your feet, just the rib cage. And the whole time, if there's anything that's happening right now, is you're going up and a little bit turn, and then up and a little bit turn, and then up and a little bit turn, right? So you're just always mainly going up and release. Come back to the center. That was really good. Feet together, knees together, hands in the crease of the thigh just for the moment, and come one more time. This time, take your arms behind you, straight like airplane wings. I've got my elbows super straight. And I want you to pulse. This is so you'll remember me all week long. This is that terrible tricep strengthener, actually. The chin looks down in this, and what I want to do is create tension, like I'm pushing springs, hard springs, together. And I'm really squeezing the elbows straighter and straighter. And the chest is still lifted, so I'm not rounded at all. The shoulders are pulled back, and I'm squeeze, 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 squeeze. The elbows never bend in this. Squeeze, squeeze. Keep bringing them higher, too. The hands are higher as they're squeezing. Full deep breaths. Good. And relax them. Let them fall. Let your head go down. Let your neck relax. And then push your feet down, roll yourself up. Tuck your chin as you do. And if you get pain in your triceps tomorrow, you'll be going, thank you, Diana. That was very good. Except it might get more and more intense as the days go by. That simple little movement stretch. One more time, take your hands back. One last thing. So my arms are straight back again. This time, though, I'm going to turn just so you can see me. I'm going to maybe hold my hands interlaced. Now, I might not be able to do that, so it doesn't matter. But if I can, I'm holding my fingers interlaced like this, or I'm just straightening them back again. If you have them interlaced, that's a harder pose, of course. The shoulders are rolled back, the chest is lifted. Inhale, and then start to come out. Let your arms go up. Right, let your head go down, your arms go up. Push your feet down, look at your feet. Inhale, push your feet down to lift yourself up. Exhale, release your hands. Let everything relax. Feet pressed down. To finish, we're going to do Shavasana in a chair. So, you don't have to do it in a chair. But today we are. And you can do it, of course, lying down if you prefer. But I think it's fun to do sometimes. So we're going to do it with the block again, or your blanket rolled up, or the book, like we talked about, and you're going to put it behind your back. I'm going to lean back into the chair, so that block is pushing into my spine, and it looks like this if you can see it. I'm going to do it so maybe you can see the side view. Right there. It's right where the back likes to be, like this, right? It's right in that thoracic spine is where we want that block or book or blanket or whatever you've got there to push against it. Sitting up straight, hands on your thighs, palms open or down, just what feels natural to you. Pick a way of doing it that feels the best to your sensibilities, because there's different meanings with different shapes that your hands land. When the hands are down, it's much more self-contained. When your hands are open, you're really in a more receptive mode. And every single mudra, right, all have different purposes. So if you find your hands wanting to do something, right, like this, for instance, trust that that's exactly where your hands should be, right? So you try to just trust what the body naturally wants to do today. And then close your eyes. Shavasana, seated. I'm making little adjustments if I need to. And let's start with the breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your nose as well. If you know Ujjayi breath, use that. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes, relax your shoulders. Now, even though this might not be perfectly comfortable with the block there, just see if you can relax anyway. You know when you're on a plane, you have 1 inch on either side, and your knees are getting crushed by the seat in front of you, that somehow we can fall asleep like that? Kind of like that. So it doesn't matter the contortion that we're in, that we can still be present, we can still relax, we can still be at ease, we can still be calm, we can still breathe deeply, we can still be centered with our breath. And so do, balancing your breath to yourself and feeling gently your feet touching the ground, that they're equal between the heel of the foot and the ball of the foot, that the toes are touching, all 5 of them, all 10 of them. Feeling the heel, the arch gently is lifting, and you're not working, you're just noticing what your hands are doing and the way the temperature is of your hands, and how the carpet or the floor feels under your feet or your mat. And if it's a little hard to sit with your back straight, just change it. Just start at least for a few breaths like this, but after a while, if it feels like it's enough, just let yourself shift a little bit so it's less straining and more opening. And just with your eyes closed, just let yourself deeply rest in this shape of upright posture. And feeling all the chakras. Some of you know at the centers, right? Your heart chakra. We all know that one, right? The heart chakra, which is right in the center of the body at the sternum. That does connect to your heart muscle organ, but is not the muscle organ. It is the chakra, the center. I'm just breathing through that heart center now, as if your heart chakra had lungs, as if your heart chakra could breathe, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And whenever I work with the heart chakra, I really feel this experience of a blossoming flower. And just imagine what might be a closed, tight rose into a very opening rose where all the petals open. And feel the stillness and the softness that's within the heart chakra. And also feel the love that is here. Breathing through the heart chakra. When the heart is healthy, all is well with the body. And just getting that heart stronger, stabilized, open, receptive. What is a heart attack, right? We were healing our heart, right? To have it be more integrated psychically and physically and psychologically. Inhaling and exhaling through the heart chakra. And just feel how the rest of your body responds to this, all the way to your feet, all the way to the palms of your hands, while the crown is extending upward. And in just that, in these last moments, try to let go of any last little tension that might have accumulated during the week. Relax your mouth. Relax your eyelids. Relax the back of your shoulders and the back of your neck. Breathing through the heart chakra. Feeling calm. Knowing all is well, or it will be. And feeling that beautiful blossoming heart of yours as the governor of the whole entire self. Breathing in love. Breathing out love. Breathing in forgiveness. Breathing out forgiveness. Breathing in understanding. Breathing out understanding. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. Breathing in peace. And breathing out peace. Good, good, good. Good, and when you're ready to, letting yourself start to transition out of this meditation, knowing you can stay here longer if you like. Thank you for being part of this. Next week we'll be on mats and just regular stuff, your strap, your block if you have one. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all. You can just sign up with the recording that will be coming tomorrow. And I hope to see you there. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.